remember, I don't even read on the periodic table.
It doesn't, it's not on our page. It doesn't exist on the planet. It comes from space.
Yeah, I never heard that one.
Yeah, it's an older hypothesis. But here's the key thing. Dinosaurs, most of the dinosaurs are fairly large at this point in time. If they're being poisoned by the amount of ionium in the atmosphere and the ground, why the hell is everything else still living? There are much smaller, including mammals, are much smaller organisms than plants. So it didn't work through. And these are the sublime ones. And I gotta reorganize these for us. Supernova. Out in space, a supernova occurs, and we know how that's going to work as far as wave patterns coming in. I think we discussed the fact that the sun just burst. It has been burning a couple of times already, but there's a big one that just came through, and we're supposed to be hit with it. And then it'll also be some electromagnetic. It happened. The solar, yeah, I'm using different technology. It's a solar flare. Basically, what happens is the gas builds up, etc., and then not next to it. So, but basically, what happens is first solar cycle. Just think of it as an exploding event. So sometimes when it comes out, it's a major corona, then the wavelength of the material sort of moves through electronic material. Move through to just like you do the solar wind. It shouldn't make any. It's going to get hotter anyway. We're in the beginning, most likely, we're in the beginning of the next major extinction. And of course, keep in mind when it says climate change, when it says it's getting hotter and hotter, people get stuck on that. The idea of extreme climate change, yes, it will be hotter, but it also will be colder. So we're going to get two forms of the extreme in there. One doesn't sit. So supernova hits, and of course it irradiates everything. And it irradiates stuff. It irradiates equals to this. It irradiates everything, and it keeps stuff. And once again, we question, well, how come everything else didn't get cancer and die at that point in time, except for consciousness? Let's see. Volcanoes. Okay, so now, all right, so, maybe we'll get an asteroid every once in a while, maybe we won't. But we do have volcanoes that explode, and if they're exploding, like we said, with natural disasters, etc., then they're going to spew up a whole bunch of selenium. Selenium is one of the big ones. Selenium here, natural, occurs naturally. It's going to spew up, but it is poisonous to us. Some. In this case, same scenario, stuff that's around, it's filtered down, and it poisons the dinosaurs. So we're back to the same thing. Yeah, they're big, and other smaller things to live in. So. It's an element. Yeah, it's a Russian too. It makes up here. I saw it. I don't know the curve. As many of you know. like that. All right, so let's see. So mammals and birds are better adapted. I already said that. Ah. So geology. How do we explain stuff like mountains? How do we explain stuff like the deepest trench in the ocean? Mariana's Trench is the deepest trench in the ocean. Basically a big hole in the bottom of the ocean. How do we explain it? Well, one of the hypotheses was the formation of the Earth and the Moon. Yeah. Yeah, there's a time scale problem in there, but I'm going to go with it anyway because remember, crisis in science, right? What do scientists do? We can't explain this shit, so we're going to make it everything we can up, and if it sticks, and if it doesn't, we throw it out. So I want you guys to understand that that's how that works. Science isn't just a bunch of guys with big heads going around. We're not showing. So, oh yeah. So moon tidal wave, moon hole tidal wave hypothesis. So the moon, about the time of the dinosaurs, ejects from the planet.
It's crazy.
Yeah, ejects from the planet. Now this is interesting because, of course, current hypothesis, current information, current data suggests that something hit the Earth and popped the moon out, and that was a long time ago. But here we are at the dinosaur period. So the moon ejects out to its position, and what happens as a result? Well, if you've ever been poolside with your friends, and they're all sleeping comfortably in the sun, and you're an asshole like me, what will you do? You will cannonball into the water, sure. A big splish. Displacement, right? So the moon leaves, there's a hole, the water comes in, displacement, but then of course because of that it goes sploosh, just like the cannonball, and giant waves move out, where they wash the dinosaurs out to sea. And, you know, it's believable with the Tyrannosaurus. And of course, with that, realizing that that didn't work, of course, now the idea geologists are working on what the hell happens, how do mountains form? And we know that there's some movement to some extent, but they're thinking really, when we discover that the plates move, there's a question about how fast this occurs. So, geologists, a couple 150 years ago now, maybe it is, I can't think of his name offhand, but he got up on the podium and he said to his fellow geologists, look, here's what I think is going on. We know that the Earth's center is magma, and that means convection cells. And so what I'm thinking is that the land masses that we're seeing are actually moving on these convection cells. And, you know, and so they looked at him for a few minutes and just started laughing and started to, in a sense, embarrass him on the stage. And about 100 years later, they sat there, a bunch of them sat there like, they think he's right. Sometimes you can't win. You bet he didn't leave to see. So now the question was, how fast? And the idea was, well, mountains are, I mean, you know, that's a lot of stuff out there. So we're guessing maybe these plates are actually moving about 50, 60 miles an hour and smashing into each other to create these mountains. And of course, what we eventually learned, it's not, it's just that pressure right there. It's not just filled everything up. As one does this and the others. That's what I guess it's vision. So you can see we're kind of getting into the silliness here, and nothing too focused. The last three are the big ones. No taste buds. So, okay, so they didn't get poisoned, but they have no taste buds, so they can't tell that other materials, like other animals and plants, are poisoned. And so they just go ahead and eat. And they wind up dying from poison. that leads into two other hypotheses. The starvation hypothesis. So we know that their brains are small. And so you get a dinosaur, plant eater maybe that's sitting there, and the plants are now hybridizing because things are changing towards the end of those periods. So, you know, there's that. And so they just don't find anything to eat, and eventually come to the starvation hypothesis. Yeah. It looked really great. Of course, and then we can go the reverse on that. All right, so you don't like the starvation hypothesis. Here's the new one. Maybe they just didn't give it. Maybe they didn't care. So it's like, no, it's okay. And they go through and they munch them up. And it's different food. It's all hypothesis. How many of you own dogs? And how many of you have cats that put up with them? Have you ever changed their diet?
Yes.
And the result? Wasn't so good. What happens when you change your diet in some cases? Sick. Sick. And so hence the constipation hypothesis, in which they become constipated and cannot relieve themselves. I like to think that they're just suddenly exploding. And of course, it's getting silly. So then going along the idea of not being smart enough, then we deal with the brain to body size for dinosaurs.